He began life as an impoverished outcast whose abandoned family struggled to survive on the freezing steppes of Mongolia. By the time he died, he had united the warring nomadic tribes and built the largest contiguous land empire in human history. Kings trembled at his approach. Cities surrendered unconditionally at the mere mention of his name. But was Genghis Khan history's greatest, most revolutionary conqueror, or simply its most feared? Today, we trace the astonishing rise of the boy named Temüjin and the war machine that conquered Eurasia. To understand the miracle of the Mongol unification, we must examine the world around the year 1160 AD. The high, wind-swept steppes of Mongolia were home to dozens of fiercely independent nomadic tribes, including the Mongols, Tatars, Merkits, and Karaits. These tribes were locked in a perpetual bloody cycle of cattle raiding, kidnapping, and blood feuds. Surrounding this fractured steppe were massive, heavily armed, and technologically advanced agricultural kingdoms: the Jurchen Jin dynasty ruling northern China, the Western Shah along the Silk Road, and the vast Islamic Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia. For centuries, these powerful empires kept the nomads weak by deliberately paying rival tribal chieftains to fight and destroy one another. No monarch on earth could have predicted that a destitute tribal youth would soon unite the steppe and completely reshape the geopolitical map of Eurasia. That boy's birth name wasn't Genghis Khan. It was Temüjin. Born around 1162 near the sacred Mount Burkhan Khaldun, Temüjin was the son of Yesuge, a respected chieftain of the Borjigin clan. When Temüjin was just 9 years old, his father died during a feast with rival Tatar chieftains while returning from a betrothal journey. Sensing weakness, the Borjigin clan instantly abandoned young Temüjin, his mother Holun, and his siblings, taking their herds and leaving them to survive on the freezing Mongolian steppe during winter. For years, the outcast family survived by foraging roots, catching wild berries, and fishing in icy rivers. This agonizing hardship forged Temüjin's iron will and unforgiving survival instincts. During a severe dispute over family survival rations, Temüjin and his brother Hasar had a fatal confrontation with their older half-brother Bektar, illustrating the extreme, unforgiving reality of nomadic survival. It taught young Temüjin an early, lifelong lesson. Unity and absolute internal discipline were the only ways to survive in a violent world. Soon after, Temüjin was captured by the rival Taichiyu tribe, but made a daring escape by hiding in a freezing river under moonlight. Temüjin's escape from captivity quickly earned him a reputation for extraordinary resourcefulness and courage. Forming strategic alliances with his childhood blood brother Jamuka and his father's old ally Togrul of the Karait tribe, Temüjin began uniting the nomadic warriors. What made Temüjin revolutionary was his complete rejection of traditional steppe aristocracy. While rival chieftains rewarded men based on noble bloodline and clan lineage, Temüjin instituted strict meritocracy. He promoted shepherds, blacksmiths, and captured enemy warriors to generalships purely based on their loyalty, bravery, and tactical skill. Furthermore, when he defeated an enemy tribe, instead of enslaving them or leaving them outcasts, he integrated the surviving warriors directly into his own army as equal citizens, sharing all captured loot evenly. By 1206 AD, Temüjin had systematically defeated every rival nomadic confederation, including the Tatars, Naimans, and his former blood brother Jamuka. At a massive assembly on the Onon River known as the Great Kurultai, millions of nomads raised the 9 white horsehair banners and proclaimed Temüjin supreme ruler of all the tribes. They granted him an immortal title, Genghis Khan, meaning the universal ruler or oceanic ruler. The divided Mongolian steppe was united for the first time in human history. With all nomadic tribes united under his banner, Genghis Khan transformed the Mongol horsemen into the most disciplined, lethal military machine in the medieval world. While European knights relied on heavy armor and frontal charges, the Mongols relied on unmatched speed, psychological coordination, and extreme adaptability. Every Mongol warrior rode to war with 3 to 5 hardy Mongolian horses, switching mounts at a full gallop to travel over 100 miles a day without resting, a speed that astonished ancient armies. Armed with powerful recurved composite bows constructed from horn, wood, and sinew, Mongol horse archers could accurately shoot targets at 300 yards while galloping at full speed, executing the deadly Parthian shot by firing backward while riding away. To eliminate old tribal divisions, Genghis Khan organized his army using a strict decimal system: units of 10, Arbat, 100, Zut, 1,000, Mingan, and 10,000, Tumen. If any warrior abandoned his comrades in battle, the entire 10-man unit faced severe punishment. Coordinated on the battlefield through colored signal flags and horn blasts, the formula for Mongol dominance was absolute. Speed plus discipline plus intelligence equals Mongol success. Having forged the perfect cavalry army, Genghis Khan looked south toward the wealthy agricultural kingdoms of China. In 1209 AD, the Mongols launched their first foreign campaign against the Western Xia kingdom along the Silk Road, quickly forcing their submission. Next, in 1211, Genghis turned his wrath upon the massive Jurchen Jin dynasty ruling northern China, an empire boasting 50 million citizens and heavily fortified stone cities. The Jin emperors believed their towering 40-foot city walls and massive infantry armies made them invincible against steppe nomads. But Genghis Khan proved to be a master of military adaptability. Capturing Chinese engineers and craftsmen, the Mongols rapidly mastered advanced siege technology, constructing massive traction trebuchets, catapults, battering rams, and gunpowder firebombs right outside enemy walls. If a fortified city refused to surrender, the Mongols would dam nearby rivers to flood the fortress or cut off all supply lines to starve the defenders. In 1215 AD, following a grueling siege, the Jin capital of Zhengdu, modern-day Beijing, fell to the Mongols. Genghis Khan demonstrated that his horsemen were not only invincible on open steppes, but were also master siege engineers, capable of bringing down the greatest fortresses on earth. Following his triumphs in China, Genghis Khan initially sought peaceful trade with the vast Islamic Khwarezmian Empire ruling Central Asia and Persia. In 1218 AD, Genghis dispatched a wealthy trade caravan of 450 Muslim merchants carrying gold, jade, and silk to establish diplomatic and commercial ties. But when the caravan arrived at the border city of Otrar, the arrogant governor seized the rich cargo and executed the merchants. Genghis Khan responded with remarkable patience, sending 3 royal ambassadors, 2 Mongols and 1 Muslim, directly to Shah Muhammad II, demanding the governor be handed over for punishment. In one of history's greatest diplomatic disasters, the Shah executed the Muslim ambassador and shaved the beards of the 2 Mongols, sending them back in humiliation. Genghis Khan went up to Mount Burkhan Khaldun, fasted for 3 days, and pledged absolute vengeance. In 1219 AD, he unleashed a multi-pronged invasion of 200,000 horsemen across Central Asia. Crossing desert sand dunes once thought impassable, Mongol columns struck Bukhara, Samarkand, and Merv with terrifying speed. Cities that surrendered immediately were spared and protected. Those that resisted were leveled as a chilling psychological warning to all others. Within 3 years, the mighty Khwarezmian Empire was erased from the map. Why were the Mongols able to systematically destroy empires 10 times larger than their own? The secret lay in their revolutionary battlefield tactics and intelligence networks. Before invading any territory, Genghis Khan dispatched spies and merchants months in advance to map enemy roads, wells, and fortifications, while spreading rumors to incite internal panic. On the battlefield, their signature maneuver was the feigned retreat. Mongol horse archers would charge the enemy line, fire a devastating volley of arrows, and then pretend to panic, fleeing in apparent confusion. When enemy knights or infantry broke their disciplined formations to pursue the fleeing Mongols across several miles, hidden Mongol cavalry wings waiting in ambush would wheel inward and execute a perfect double encirclement. Trapped inside a ring of whistling arrows and heavy lancers, the exhausted enemy army would be annihilated without ever forcing the Mongols into prolonged hand-to-hand combat. Furthermore, through their rapid horse relay communication system, Mongol generals could coordinate multi-army maneuvers across hundreds of miles simultaneously, a level of strategic speed and flexibility never seen in human history. While history often remembers Genghis Khan purely for battlefield destruction, his administrative and civil achievements were equally extraordinary. To govern his vast, multicultural empire, Genghis established a universal legal code known as the Yasa. He banned the kidnapping and selling of women, outlawed the torture of subjects, granted complete tax exemption to doctors, teachers, and lawyers, and instituted freedom of religion, protecting Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, and Taoists alike across his realms. To connect his empire from China to Eastern Europe, Genghis Khan created the Yam, an ingenious postal relay communication system featuring thousands of fortified way stations stocked with fresh horses. Royal messengers could ride 300 miles a day across Eurasia, delivering edicts and trade intelligence at unprecedented speeds. Under Mongol rule, the ancient Silk Road was revitalized and protected by armed patrols, leading to the Pax Mongolica, a golden era where global commerce, technology, and cultural exchange flourished between East and West like never before. Genghis Khan was not merely a conqueror, he was an ambitious global empire builder.
In 1227 AD, while commanding a final punishment campaign against the rebellious Western Xia Kingdom in northern China, the great conqueror died at roughly 65 years old. The exact cause of his death remains debated, attributed by historians to illness, internal fever, or injuries sustained from falling off his horse during winter hunting. Before dying, Genghis Khan ordered that his death be kept secret until the campaign was completed, and that he be buried in an unmarked grave without monuments. According to Mongolian legend, his funeral escort executed anyone encountered along the route to Mount Burkhan Khaldan, and a herd of 100 horses was driven over the burial ground to erase any trace. To this day, the tomb of Genghis Khan has never been found, yet his legacy remains colossal. He forged the largest contiguous land empire in human history, stretching over 11 million square miles from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Whether remembered as a visionary empire builder who connected East and West, or as a terrifying conqueror responsible for immense destruction, Genghis Khan forever reshaped the world. In our next episode, we follow the extraordinary story of Saladin, the chivalrous sultan who reunited the Islamic world and defeated the Crusaders. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now so you don't miss it.